Every time you fill up your gas tank, you're financing the power of the US dollar. Sounds strange, doesn't it? But that's the truth most of us never knew. Have you ever wondered why America can print money like printing newspapers, rack up $32 trillion in national debt, yet still remain the world's only superpower? Why do countries have to stockpile US dollars even when they despise Washington? Why does every nation that dares to sell oil and other currencies end up in trouble? The answer lies in a system designed 50 years ago, the petrodollar system. This isn't just a simple trade agreement, but the foundation of America's entire economic empire. Today, I'll expose how America forces the entire world to use the US dollar, why you're paying the price for this power every single day, and what will happen when this system collapses. After hearing this, you'll never look at the dollar, or even your own car, the same way again. To understand the power of the petrodollar system, we must go back to 1973. This was when America was in a state of desperation. The Vietnam War had drained the budget, inflation was skyrocketing, and most importantly, the dollar had just lost its gold foundation. In 1971, President Nixon announced the end of the Bretton Woods system, meaning the dollar was no longer backed by gold. Then in October 1973, the oil crisis erupted. OPEC raised oil prices from $3 to $12 per barrel, a 400% increase in just a few months. America fell into a severe energy crisis. But instead of trying to solve the crisis, Washington saw a golden opportunity. In that context, a secret American delegation flew to Riyadh. Led by Secretary of State Henry Kissinger and Treasury Secretary William Simon, they brought an offer that couldn't be refused. The agreement was signed in July 1974, but the details were only revealed 30 years later. The agreement's content was as follows. Saudi Arabia committed to selling all its oil exclusively in US dollars, persuading other OPEC nations to follow suit, and investing oil profits in US Treasury bonds. In return, America promised military protection for the Saudi royal family, sales of advanced weapons to Saudi Arabia, and non-interference in Saudi domestic politics. Sounds like a normal bilateral agreement? No, this was the turning point that shaped the entire world for the past 50 years. Within 2 years, all of OPEC had accepted selling oil in US dollars. What did this mean? For the world, any country wanting to buy oil had to have US dollars. No oil, no modern economy. No dollars, no oil. For America, they had just created artificial demand for their currency globally. Now they could print dollars to buy real goods from other countries. And those countries had to accept it because they needed dollars to buy oil. That's how America transformed the dollar from an ordinary currency into the world's currency without needing backing from gold or anything else besides military might. The petrodollar system creates a nearly unbreakable power loop. Let's see how it works. Step 1. The world must have dollars. Want to buy oil? You need dollars. Want to develop your economy? You need oil. Want to have dollars? You must sell real goods to America at cheap prices. Step 2. America prints money to buy real goods. America just needs to turn on the money printer to buy oil, food, and goods from around the world. They give out paper money, receive real goods. Step 3. Dollars return to America. What do countries do with these dollars they receive? They buy U.S. Treasury bonds, lending America back the very money they just received. Step 4. America uses borrowed money to maintain the military. Money from Treasury bonds is used to maintain the massive war machine, ensuring no one dares to break this system. You see, a perfect loop. The world works, America enjoys the fruits. To understand how massive this power is, look at these numbers. The global oil market is about 100 million barrels per day, worth $80 per barrel, meaning $8 billion every single day. More than 80% of global oil transactions use dollars. 60% of global foreign exchange reserves are US dollars, mainly because countries need dollars to buy oil. What does this mean? Every day, the world must find ways to obtain billions of dollars to maintain their economies. In America, they just need to turn on the printer. This is how America taxes the entire world without declaring war. Every time the Fed prints more money, inflation in America rises slightly because dollars are diluted across the world. But inflation in other countries rises sharply because they have to use more domestic currency to exchange for dollars to buy oil. You in America pay higher gas prices not because oil is actually scarce, but because the Fed prints more dollars. That's how Americans are subsidizing their own lifestyle through a global system most don't even understand. However, not everyone submits. Over the past 20 years, more and more countries have dared to challenge the petrodollar system. Iraq in 2000. Saddam Hussein declared he would sell oil in euros instead of dollars. Result? The Iraq War in 2003. After Saddam was overthrown, Iraq immediately returned to selling oil in dollars. Libya in 2010. Gaddafi not only wanted to sell oil for gold, but also establish a pan-African currency backed by gold. Result? NATO intervention in 2011. Libya was devastated. Oil went back to being sold in dollars. Iran since 2006 has continuously sold oil in euros, Chinese yuan, even bartering goods. Result? Harsh economic sanctions lasting nearly 20 years. Do you see the pattern? Anyone who dares touch the petrodollar faces trouble. But times have changed. The new challengers aren't small countries that can be easily crushed. China with the petro yuan. In 2018, China launched crude oil contracts in Shanghai, priced in yuan and convertible to gold. China is the world's largest oil importer, consuming 15 million barrels per day. Countries like Iran, Venezuela, and Russia have started selling oil to China in yuan. Russia with the petro ruble. After being sanctioned in 2022, Russia required unfriendly countries to pay for gas and oil in rubles. This forced European countries to buy rubles, increasing the value of Russian currency despite sanctions. Even Saudi Arabia, America's longtime ally, has begun wavering. In March 2022, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman declared Saudi Arabia was open to selling oil in yuan to China. This is the most serious warning signal to the petrodollar system since its inception. Not stopping there, the BRICS bloc, consisting of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, is planning to create a new trade currency backed by a basket of real commodities like gold, oil, gas, and wheat, allowing member countries to trade without needing dollars. 30 countries have expressed interest in joining. If this plan succeeds, it will be a fatal blow to the petrodollar system. So what will happen if the petrodollar system actually collapses? This is no longer a hypothetical question, but an increasingly likely scenario. Stage 1. Loss of dollar demand. When major countries start selling oil in other currencies, global dollar demand will sharply decline. Central banks won't need to hold as many dollar reserves. Stage 2. Dollars return to America. Trillions of dollars circulating outside the U.S. will be brought back and sold. This creates enormous inflationary pressure within America. Stage 3. National debt crisis. No one will want to buy U.S. Treasury bonds at low interest rates. America will be forced to raise interest rates to extremely high levels to attract investment, leading to a debt crisis. Stage 4. Economic recession. With $32 trillion in national debt and high interest rates, the U.S. government will have to drastically cut spending, leading to deep recession. Many people think the collapse of the petrodollar will only affect America. Wrong. The entire world will feel strong impacts. On the positive side, oil prices may be more stable, not manipulated by U.S. monetary policy. Countries can trade with major partners in other currencies, reducing dollar dependence, and gold reserves may increase sharply in value. On the negative side, global economic crisis will affect international trade, stock markets may experience severe volatility, and time will be needed to adapt to new monetary systems. However, every crisis brings opportunity. For countries, escape from America's hidden inflation tax, true monetary sovereignty, fairer international trade. For individuals, understand the true nature of monetary systems, prepare hedge assets like gold, real estate, real assets, learn about cryptocurrencies and new payment systems. How do we know when the petrodollar system starts crumbling? Watch Fed policy. When the Fed is forced to raise interest rates to extremely high levels, above 10% to defend the dollar. When America starts imposing sanctions on multiple countries simultaneously. When Washington intensifies military intervention in the Middle East. Watch major countries' policies. China stops buying U.S. Treasury bonds. Russia and Iran expand transactions in domestic currencies. Saudi Arabia officially declares acceptance of payments in multiple currencies. From markets, pay attention to the gold market. Gold prices surge and maintain high levels. Central banks accelerate gold purchases. Demand for physical gold increases sharply globally. Currency markets. The dollar weakens despite Fed rate hikes. Other currencies appreciate against the dollar. Exchange rate volatility increases dramatically. Oil markets. Many oil contracts appear priced in other currencies. Oil prices decouple from dollar correlation. Oil-producing countries strengthen bilateral cooperation. So how do we prepare for this major change? Diversify assets. Don't keep all money in bank accounts. Invest in real assets like gold, real estate, commodities. Learn about cryptocurrency as an alternative. Learn and stay updated. Follow monetary policies of major countries. Understand how international monetary systems work. Connect with communities concerned about these issues. Mental preparation. Accept that major changes are coming. View crises as opportunities to learn and grow. Don't panic, but act with planning. Now you understand why every time you fill up your gas tank, you're financing the power of the US dollar. The petrodollar system isn't a natural result of free markets, but a sophisticated tool designed to maintain American hegemony. Over the past 50 years, this system has allowed America to live luxuriously by printing money to buy real goods from the world, forced other countries to subsidize the American lifestyle, and created enormous economic inequality between nations. But nothing lasts forever. History shows that every empire eventually declines, and signs indicate the petrodollar era is gradually ending. We're witnessing a silent revolution. China with the petro-yuan, Russia with the petro-ruble, BRICS with a new currency, even Saudi Arabia is beginning to waver. This isn't a war against the American people, but a struggle for a fairer financial system where no country can steal the world's wealth with a money printer. Understanding this cycle is the first step to protecting yourself. Don't just be a passive consumer, become someone knowledgeable about financial systems. Things you can do right now include learning more about monetary history and financial systems, diversifying assets beyond paper currency, following changes in international monetary policy, sharing this knowledge with family and friends. The petrodollar system may have existed for 50 years, but nothing is permanent. Change is coming, and those who prepare early will have the greatest advantage. If this article has opened your eyes, share it so more people understand the truth. Don't let the system continue deceiving us with beautiful stories about free markets. Truth is power. And now you have the power to see the world as it really is, because knowledge is the most powerful weapon in this battle.